Being an international student, if you have applied for the US visitor visa, then this video is extremely helpful to you. You will get to know some important US visitor visa questions and the required document. This video is equally help you to answer and a few tips that you can use while preparing the answers of the question as per your situations. So here are the documents you are required while appearing for the US visitor visa interview. Passport and air ticket. So your air tickets are the evidence that you will come back to your residential country after the legal stay in US. So it provides a sort of evidence for your return and your goodwill. US address, where you are going to stay. So that's important. If you have a hotel reservation, you should have the address of the hotel with the receipt. And if you have a friend or relative in US, you should have their residential address. But here you need to remember one thing. So while filling your DS-160 form, if you have mentioned that you don't have any relative or friend in US, then you shouldn't mention your relative or friend's address. DS-160 confirmation page. This is the first thing that they are going to ask you while you will appear for your interview for the US visitor visa. Visa fee receipt and 2 photos of size 2 by 2 inches. So your photograph should not be older than 6 months, and they are very particular for this thing. So do remember your photos should not be older than 6 months. Proof of funds, current employment record and pay stubs. So when we talk about proof of funds, it means your bank statement, your fixed deposit, or if you have any property, you should have your property document, or if you have rental property, then you should have rental agreement. It will also provide a sort of evidence that you will return to your residential country. So in case you are working, you should have your current employment record or letter. In case you are working, along with your letter, you should have your past 3 or 4 months pay stubs. Sport letter, invitation letter, proof of event, invitation card or brochure if applicable. So if in your DS-160 form you have mentioned that your friend or relative have invited you to US, then you should have their sport letter or the invitation letter. If you are meeting your own expenditure, even then you need to have an invitation letter. But if you are appearing for any conference or any seminar, you should have brochure with you. In the same way, if you are going to attend there any event, for example, any birthday or any wedding party, so you should have the invitation card with you. Marriage certificate and family 2-3 photographs if applicable. If you are married, then marriage certificate may be demanded there by the visa officer. And if you have family members, it's always good to carry 2 or 3 photographs. These photographs are equally a sort of evidence of your return, that once your legal stay in US will be over, you will come back. Hotel reservation document if applicable. So as mentioned before, that is hotel reservation document, your receipt, it's a sort of evidence of your goodwill that you will leave US after your legal stay. School enrollment letter, transcript and fee deposit receipt. So being a student, you should have all these documents with you. Study permit, student ID if applicable. So if you have your student ID or your student permit documents, then it's recommended to carry it with you. It will authenticate your identity. So Now, here are a few questions that you may be asked while appearing in the interview. What's your full name? Can I see your passport? So, when the visa officer asks you about your name, don't use your first or last name. Always use the name that's provided in your passport. And while giving your passport to the visa officer, use polite words. Here's my passport, please. So, in that way, you give them a positive gesture. Where are you from? So, this question most of the time confuse the candidates because they are confused if they should mention their home address or home country address, or they should mention their residential address. For example, if you are from India and you are residing currently in Canada and you are applying for US visitor visa from Canada, then you need to provide your current residential address of Canada. What is the purpose of your visit to the US? That's very important while filling your DS-160 form. Whatever the purposes you have mentioned, either it was visit to a friend or to attend a conference or a seminar, always give that particular information. It should match with the information that you have provided in DS-160 confirmation page. Have you been to the US before? So there's nothing to hide. Always be very honest. Either way, they have your record. So if you have ever visited, just say yes. It's always good to remember the month and the year when you visited there, and along with the reason. What was the reason why you visited US in past? And if you have not visited before, just say no. Which school and program are you enrolled in? Being student, you should remember your school name and the course or the program you are enrolled in. Sometimes they ask you about one or two courses from just to ensure that you are a right person. Where are you going to reside in the US? So again, if you are residing in a hotel, show them the reservation documents and the receipt. And if you are going to stay with your one of the friend or relative, just tell them you should have their addresses with you. Who will cover your expenses in the US? So this question is already asked while you are filling the form DS-160. So your information should match with that. If you are covering your expenditure, just say, yeah, I'm going to meet my expenses in US. If in your DS-160 form you have mentioned one of the name of your relative or friend, then your information should match with the information you provided in DS-160 form. Do you have a family member or friends currently residing in the US? So again, because you have already provided the information, so this time your answer should match with the information you provided in form DS-160. How long will you be staying in the US? So the dates you have mentioned in DS-160 form, use the same dates here. What's the reason for traveling at this particular time? So they can ask you, for example, if you have mentioned that you are going for tourism purposes, so you should have a logic why you have chosen this particular time. Or you can just tell that I have summer vacations, that's why I want to utilize my time over there. Or I love tourism a lot, I want to know more about US and I want to visit the places, the tourist places, and because these are your holidays, that's why you have planned at this particular time. Where will you be residing in the United States? Yeah, the same thing. If you are residing with a family member who is currently residing in US or any relative, just mention their addresses. Or if you are going to stay in a hotel, then show them the reservation documents. How can you assure me that you will return to your home country / residential country? So It depends. If you are applying from your home country, then you can show them the property documents if you have a commercial property, agricultural property, or residential property. Or if you are residing in a residential country and you are not owning any property, even then you can show them the rental agreement. Provide detailed information about your relative or friend in the US if applicable. So if you have mentioned about your friend or a relative in your DS-160 form, so you need to have their proof where they are working. Number 2, what is their residential address? So this information is important. If you don't have the information related to your work, then they may be doubtful that why don't you know about the information about your friend. So I will suggest that you should have their work history, for how long they are residing in US, and of course their residential address. I assure you that the list of the documents for the US visitor visa in this video, along with the important question and tips, will definitely help you to get US visitor visa. If you like the information, then please subscribe the channel for more useful videos. Good luck. Thank you.